one of the best feelings. That's what I really like in tricking. Every time I went to training, it had to come from inside me, so I had the burning passion growing inside. All the lessons what you learn at training, you should try to then use in your everyday life. We are the world's most successful performing tricking team. Overcoming the fear and with a clever way, not just throwing and going crazy for it. Use it for the good and get rid of the pressure and negative side that might push you to take too much risks.
Hey everybody, it's Surfer of Life, and this time we were flying through the air with Vellu Saarela. Not really flying, but imaginary, doing the flips and tricks that I'm not able to do, but he truly is a master. He's one of the best trickers in the whole world, and he's been around in this tricking business for ages already. He's actually performing in Germany at the moment with his team VellusTa. They have built amazing show, so if you are from Germany, check out their schedule, and if you are around, go and see the show. You will enjoy it for sure. Vellu was such a happy person. I'm sure that you will enjoy the conversation as much as I did. Just a reminder for you that go on and check out surferoflife.com if you haven't done it yet. You will get 4-part morning routine as well. If you go there, you get it for free. Try it at least and send me an email after that and let me know how it worked for you. For me, it has helped a lot to build up my day in the mornings. I'm not so tired anymore. I use this routine every morning and it feels great to wake up in the mornings. But now it's time for action with Vellu Saarela. Enjoy.
I am Tommy and this is Surfer of Life. Today's guest is a true tricker of life, Vellu Saarela. You are a tricker and you've won the European Championships in 2009 and 2011, and you are the only man in the world who has done double backflip from one leg to standing.
Yeah.
Welcome to Surfer of Life, Vellu.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
How is your wife after yesterday's landing?
My wife, oh no, you've seen the video. Well, wife is luckily fine. Nothing bad happened, and it only ended up being a funny video. Luckily nothing serious, but that kind of stuff can happen every now and then.
Not so safe, the tricking. But we are going to get to that tricking part. What about you? You are a tricker and you are a master of controlling your body, but how did you discover this sport?
I think, first of all, I could also tell what is tricking, actually, because many people don't know the sport. And tricking is a mix of martial arts, gymnastics, and breakdancing. And the trickers try to create aesthetically pleasing combinations using kicks, flips, and twists. And when I saw it for the first time in 2005, it was my neighbor who showed me a video from the internet, and I got hooked immediately. I was wondering how it's possible for a human being to fly through the air, do such crazy flips and tricks in the air. And I went back home and I googled about backflips, aerials, cartwheels without hands, and I found tricking. And that's how I got started.
Did you do it by yourself just, or did you have any other friends who were interested in the sport?
In the beginning, I only found it myself, and then I found few of my best friends who were also interested in it, and we all got pretty excited, and we were training every day, jumping to the snow, jumping to water, jumping on grass on our backyards. And we formed our first tricking team called Marsa team.
What did you think? What were your thoughts at the beginning? Did you think that you will be able to do tricks like this, crazy as you do nowadays?
No, I could have never imagined. Like, when I started, I decided that I'm gonna learn all the front going moves like front flip and side flip, because back flip, like going over your head backwards, seemed too scary, and I never would have believed where tricking will take me later on.
Around the world, tricking has been there for a while, and you said that it's a combination from different sports. Do you know the real roots who actually started the sport?
Yeah, like how tricking got started, it was in the beginning of 90s in America in the sport karate scene. Sport karate is a sport where the practitioners of karate, they do hand forms like karate punches together with the kicks, and slowly they started to add more acrobatic movements like jumping kicks with some spins, also aerials, which means cartwheel without any hands, doing a backflip and kicking to the air at the same time. And slowly in these sport karate competitions, the practitioners started to go more and more towards the acrobatic side. And like when they hold the competitions, some of the practitioners just formed their own groups, and they were thinking like, okay, what kind of new tricks could we create this time? And slowly tricking started to form in the sport karate scene. And in the end of 90s, beginning of 2000, it started to form and be its own. Like, you couldn't anymore call them the same. It wasn't sport karate anymore, it was pure tricking. So that's how, and that happened in North America, and through internet it started to grow in all around the world.
What about you? Was it an instant passion when you saw these tricks made?
Yeah, it was. I was hooked immediately, and there was no coming back. It was from the moment when I saw the first video, I haven't looked back.
Do you think passion is the thing that carries people to do things they really want, and they get good at it if they are really passionate of doing things?
Definitely, that's the most important, and people need to have fun doing. If you want to get good at something, you need to have fun doing it. Like, if it's just like you have to force yourself to go to the gym, or you have to force yourself to study, or whatever it is, it's not going to work in the long run. You need to motivate yourself, you need to have goals, and it needs to come, the passion needs to come from inside you, like from yourself. And that's how I feel with my tricking career. That was really the carrying force for me, because there wasn't any teachers back in the days when I started. It was really small sport, it still is, but it's growing. And every time I went to training, it had to come from inside me. So I had the burning passion growing inside all the time, that it was like telling me inside my head, you need to go to training, you need to learn this trick, you need to get better, you need to get more flexible or more stronger, so that you're going to be able to learn this and that.
Did you learn these things from the masters? I realized that you were watching the films slow motion. I think it sounds amazing that there were no teacher, no coaches, that you kind of just look and learn and realize your body, how it should move. This is the way it went, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's really similar to snowboarding, skateboarding, and many of the new generation sports. So there hasn't really been somebody back in the days who was able to tell how it's done. So people learned by watching the videos. Same with b-boying. So what I did, I would play and pause frame by frame the videos and study that, okay, where does the professional tricker, or my favorite at the moment, who does this move best, where does he put his hand in the takeoff? Where is he gonna look in the takeoff? What about when he gets to the air? Which muscles he's using? And really analyzing. And I learned it from a really young age, that I learned to study the people who are the best, and I look what they're doing and studied how to do it. Then I would go outside, borrow my friend's camera or take my own and film my own, and then compare, what am I doing wrong, what can I do differently.
That's real dedication.
Yeah.
What about your parents, your family? Were they supporting you, or they're watching like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah,
it's too dangerous or whatever?
Yeah, I guess in the beginning it was quite weird and hard for them, because I would just tell them that, hey, I go outside jumping again. We were just training with my friends outside. And I think it was quite tough for them in 2006, after only 1 year of tricking, when I had my first injury and I broke my toe at the training. And 2 months after I finally got my castaway, I was ready to train again. I went on my backyard and I did a move called cheat 720 twist, landed a little bit short and twisted my ankle, and I broke my shin bone and ankle from 3 different places, and had a cast all the way up to my groin for the whole summer. I couldn't walk, I couldn't take a shower without a plastic bag on it. And at that moment my parents said like, okay, hey son, like this has to stop, like we don't even know what you're doing, You just breaking yourself, you're breaking your bones, like you need to give up this tricking thing. And that's how I felt in the beginning as well, that I thought, okay, that's it, it's too dangerous, I've only been training 1 year, I'm getting injured. And for some reason I just couldn't get it out from my mind. Like I was visualizing, I was thinking what to do when I'm gonna come back, what can I change in my training so that this will never happen again, because I will never want to be walking with the crutches or in a wheelchair or something like that. But the haunting thought, it's really scary in your mind when you're thinking like, oh, okay, like okay, something even more serious can happen. So it was difficult in the beginning to come back, but I'm so happy I did. And going back to my parents now, like after they started to see, years and years went by, I started to travel with tricking, I started to travel around the world to different competitions, and they started to see that, wow, like this is really taking him into somewhere. They started to more and more push, like, okay, keep doing it, like that's good. And I feel like in the beginning they were worried about me, but they've always been supportive. Like it's just like I cannot blame them. I would also be really afraid if my son or daughter would come home with the broken bones and be like, hey, what's going on? So in the beginning they were a bit scared. Maybe my father also more wishing me to do some traditional sports, like hey, why you don't go to gymnastics, or why you don't do the track and field. Like he always tried to push me to some other direction. But nowadays they're really supportive. They if there's a possibility, they come to look our shows, or they always asking, asking from them help. What can I do with our company? What can I do in this kind of situation with our tricking school or with the shows? And we have a really good connection, and they've seen the journey since the beginning.
Back to that injury part a little bit. How heavy was it for a 13-year-old to have the cast the whole summer? Your buddies are out there having fun and enjoying life. And how heavy was that? Do you still remember that time?
Yes, I remember it really clearly. I remember I had the cast. We would always go to the beach to swim with my friends, and now I would like walk with my crutches to the beach or go with the bicycle when I was able already to bike, and watch them swimming. And it was sweating like crazy. Like you can imagine a hot summer with the cast, so the whole leg is sweating and itching. You would like to itch it from, like you would like to scratch it all the time. And one summer feels like forever for a 13-year-old boy. So it felt like it felt like many years, and I haven't been walking. I'm just walking with the crutches. It was horrible feeling.
What was the biggest lesson you learned after that injury?
I learned that I need to take things step by step. Like I really cannot go to the moves that I'm not ready for, and I'm really happy that it happened such an early stage of my tricking career, because I see some people, they go too early with the too risky moves, and that's what I was doing as well in 2006. And I learned that I need to learn all the prerequisites. I need to be enough flexible, I need to be enough strong, and I need to learn everything what is needed to go for a certain skill. And after that, luckily, I have to knock wood that after that there hasn't been any serious injuries, and I would like to keep it that way.
Lesson well learned.
Yes.
I guess patience is the right word for that you have to take it. Patient enough.
Yeah, you have to understand, like in a sport like this, it's quite extreme. You get a lot of adrenaline and you need it for trying new crazy flips, new moves. But also you need to understand when is the moment to step back and look clearly on the situation and understand the risks.
What about after that? You were 13, you went back. How heavy and hard was it to really start all over? Because of course there's a long period of rehabilitation to get your leg better. It's good when you're young, you get better faster, but mentally, how tough was it to go back to the flips and things like this?
It was really scary at first, because you always have it in mind that what if something happens. But at the same time, I had already decided that I'm not going to do the same mistakes again, and I had quite clear path in my mind. So first weeks or even first months, they were quite difficult, but then I started to get hang of it again. And I feel like the biggest breakthrough in my tricking career was that 3 years after, I was really scared of the move that broke my leg. And 3 years after, I did the move again, but with one extra twist. And the move is called Cali Roll. I was the second person in the world to land it. And at that moment, I fully had the confidence for that. Okay, I can do anything. If I can do this, I can do anything.
Big impact on that trick.
Yeah, overcoming the fear, and with a clever way, not just throwing and going crazy for it, but actually building step by step and slowly my way back into it.
Was that the point, or was it earlier that you realized that you can actually be really good in that specific sport, tricking?
I think it was around that time, like in the same year, and yeah, well, I would say that was a huge turning point. That's when I understood that, like, wow, like I'm actually getting quite good at this. But already before, I could like slowly see that I was progressing much in a faster pace than I used to, and I wasn't it. I was living really day by day at that time. Like I was just trying to get better every day, and I wasn't really comparing and looking back. Sometimes I just understood that how it's possible that I'm here and I can do this and this now. And in the beginning I didn't even dream about the backflip, but then I just like kept on going and kept on going.
You think working hard pays off?
Definitely. You need to work hard, but you also need to work smart.
What about the same year 2009 you actually won the European Championships in the individual tricking? What kind of effect that had on you?
Well, to clarify, with tricking, we don't have an official sports organization, so we don't have the official European or World Championships either. But I would call it that event was called the Big Trick, and it was organized every year in Germany, and all the biggest Europeans, all the best Europeans were there. So that's why I call it the European Tricking Championships. And what kind of impact it had? It definitely gave me a lot of confidence for the future. And from the event was made a video called Vellu, King of Tricking, which got a lot of exposure in YouTube at the moment. And that's a reason why a lot of new trickers started all around the world. It was one of the first tricking videos that started to really spread for a wide audience, and because of that I started to get invitations consistently all the time for different tricking events. So I had been traveling a bit before that, but after that it really blew up, that like I had to always organize it with school that, hey, like I'm going 3 times this month for this and this and this country, and I started to really travel around the world, see how is the tricking community, and compete and battle all around.
What about competing in that sport? Now you got named. Did it bring you more pressure, or were you just more self-confident?
That's a tough question. Like, I think I just got more and more confident. Like the more battles I did, the more I started to feel like, okay, I've done it before. I always tried to go in my mind back to the day. Actually, like still for me, the strong moment is winning the 2009, my first big competition. So I always go back to the feeling how calm and like clever I was feeling on that day without any pressure. And that's where I still try to go in the competition moment, that I need to calm myself down. But definitely also the longer and longer the time started to go, it brought me more and more pressure also, because people would expect, they've seen some videos in internet, and when they meet me for the first time or see me competing, they would expect that he's probably gonna do the triple cork or double gainer today. So I always just try to keep myself calm.
Do you have certain methods or something before the competition that you do for the preparation?
Certain, yes, there is a lot. Like I think I need to get myself to the state where I have some adrenaline in my body. Like I cannot be too relaxed, like completely let it down and not be nervous at all, but at the same time I cannot be super nervous for it. So what I'm thinking nowadays, instead of competing, I have turned more into the performance side. So I do a lot of shows, and I would think that before the biggest shows right now, I'm thinking that I'm not going there alone, but I'm representing tricking. The whole community is there with me, and that's helping me to deal with the pressure. And then I'm thinking like, okay, I need to do this. I have a bigger mission. It's not only about me, but it's about the whole tricking.
I've never been to one competition, but I've just watched it online and from the web and TV. But it kind of seems like it's sort of the same kind of atmosphere than there is in skateboarding or whatever. And when you make a huge trick, everybody just goes wild. So it feels like it's a great vibe over there. Is it like that in the competition? Are you really competing against each other, or do you really hope that everybody is successful and is able to make the tricks?
Yeah, you really found it out already. You understood it from the videos, because that's exactly the thing. Everybody's hoping for crazy tricks to be landed, and it's not so much about the competition. We are not so serious about it. For me, the battles and competitions have always been a way to travel to a place together with the best trickers and have a session before and after, and the battle is just something you have to do. And for me, it's actually back also to your earlier question. I always thought about the competition as building a show. We have the same kind of system like break dancers, that it's a battle and two persons at the same time have, for example, 1 minute on the floor. And I always thought, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna put on the best show possible with this guy, and that way I could deal with the pressure. And when somebody lands something new in the battle or a huge trick, it's usually like that everybody runs to the floor, and the feeling is really energetic. Like, I ask quite often from my friends who come to look the battles, for example, for the first time, and they are usually very amazed that, like, wow, I've never seen something like that. Like, I felt it in my whole body, how the whole room is like full of electricity and excitement.
You can actually feel it through the screen also, the whole energy and the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, and
it feels
way different.
It feels great
location.
Even watching through the screen. You've been traveling all around the world, and this tricking has brought you in many different places. Is there any special place you would like to go over and over again?
There's many places where I like to go. I really like California because of the weather, that's for one, and the vibes. I like the Californian trickers and how it is to train there and spend time there. Also, what else? Well, about the places also where I haven't gone is Australia. I've never visited Australia, and I would really like to go there.
What is the sort of a weirdest, or weird is probably the right word, the place you've ever been?
Yeah, that has to be Turkmenistan. I don't know if there are gonna be any listeners from there, but we did a show there for the opening of their new airport. I think it was last year, and the whole country. It was interesting for a person coming from Scandinavia. Like, it's a dictatorship, and the president came to watch the show, and they were cleaning the window in front of on the place where he's gonna sit for 4 days. We had the rehearsals before, and for 4 days there was one person working, just cleaning the spot to make sure that he has a clear visibility when the show is going to be done.
You've been really able to see different cultures, and probably it makes it very interesting.
Yeah, I really like to travel and experience, and it gives a lot of perspective when you go to such a different country, and then when you come back to Finland, you're like, wow, like, everything is so good and great here.
Am I right? It's part of the whole scene also. It's a very visual sport, and when I see those shots taking and videos, and there's always a very nice background also. So is it a big deal to find the right spot where to do the tricks?
Yeah, and it's making videos is a big aspect of tricking. We call them samplers, and some people like to compete, some people like to only do the videos. I'm more actually from the video making side. I really enjoy doing videos, and like, some of them, sometimes you do it at the gym because you need the soft spring floor, but I think the most beautiful projects, you really search for the location, you think what's gonna look good, how the combination is gonna fit in this location, and then you go and shoot it in a very similar way like the snowboarding videos, for example.
How was it in China? Was it difficult to get a permission to shoot in front of the Forbidden City? I've seen some photos from there.
They were surprisingly nice, and like I don't remember any guards coming to ask like, no, that's not okay. Like they were really, yeah, they didn't have any problem with us tricking and filming in Forbidden City.
Tell me about Team VellusTa.
VellusTa tricking team, it's a performance team from Finland. We're based in Tampere, and we are the world's most successful performing tricking team. We've been performing in Finland and Europe, also in North America, Bahrain, Qatar, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, Korea, Japan, China, so basically all around the world. And we provide the biggest tricking shows that are in the scene at the moment. For example, last year we was in Qatar, and we had 9 trickers from 5 different countries performing there for the friendly match between FC Barcelona and Al Ahly, Saudi Arabian leader on the football. So we do a lot of tricking performances, but VellusTa team also, VellusTa is short for Vellus Tricking Academy, and we have 100 students in Tampere and few classes going on in Helsinki at the moment. And that's also what we wish to combine, the performing side and the tricking teaching. So we hope to get as many people to know about tricking as possible, and my dream is to provide more and more jobs for the really hardcore and hardworking dedicated trickers.
Sounds really good. What kind of person come to your class?
Any kind of person is welcome to our class. Like, many people have limits in their mind. They think that, no, I'm not enough athletic, or I'm too old, I cannot do it. But I've been teaching 70 plus year olds. I've been teaching people who are more than 100 kilos, and anybody can do it. It just depends how you're gonna start. Like, of course, if you have done sports all your life, or if you haven't done it before, you need to start from the different things. But anybody can come to the class, so everybody is welcome.
Now you've been doing this sport for a longer period of time already. What keeps you going? Is it the motivation you're getting doing new tricks, or what is it?
For right now, the main motivation for me is to help trickers, because I feel like I didn't have the support that would have been needed for training back in the days when I was competing really, really hard. And I was training 7 days, 10 times, maybe even 12 times a week at sometimes, but nobody would know what is tricking. We had a difficult time having access to the gym, and I would want to change that. For right now, the motivation for me is to change the whole world's perspective about tricking. How do they see it? Like, how that people would recognize when they see tricking, they wouldn't be that, that's some kind of jumping ninja Hollywood stuff, or that's capoeira, or that's parkour. But instead they would be like, that's tricking. That people would know what it's about. And there is so many aspects, like all of it, it's still interesting for me. Like, I still get the same rush when I'm building new tricking combos, new combinations, learning new moves. And also the fact that how to use tricking on an entertainment business, or how to make art with it. So how to take it from the gyms, from the sport aspect to the art. That's what's really interesting for me, because I feel like it's such a visual sport. So there is a lot of possibilities how to use it, to put it on stage and make it in a way that the regular person who has never seen anything like that can enjoy it to the maximum level.
Have you been asked to be part of any film productions?
Yeah, but well, I did a Finnish movie called Tappajan näköinen mies too. It was a few years ago. I was fighting Samuli Edelman and doing some tricks in the scene, and I was asked also to perform in the Kingsman Secret Service, or work in the stunts. Kingsman Secret Service movie, but unfortunately that didn't work out a few years ago. So that's my movie experience. A lot of the trickers in the States have moved into the movie scene doing stunts, and actually some of the most wanted stuntmen nowadays in Hollywood are trickers who still do who still do tricking, and they use their skills in the stunts world because that's really wanted and looks really great in the scene. But I'm more about the live shows and commercials, music videos, and not so much about the stunts. But would definitely be interested to get more into that field as well.
You've been also part in different productions or different shows with your team, especially all over the world and also in one circus, at least in one, as far as I know, Kimara. Am I right? In Sweden.
Almost, right. It's called Kinema.
Kinema.
Yeah, Kinema.
I have to do my work.
Yeah, it's a show by Circo Aero, and we are actually currently working on it. We did a tour in Sweden together with Circo Aero and Riksteatern in October, and the show is gonna play in Hämeenlinna at Verkatehdas in 4th and 5th of December, and in Espoo theater from 12th until 16th of December. So if you would like to see tricking on stage, that would be a good place to see it for the first time in your life. And before that, I also worked with the same director, Maxim Komaro, who is very well known in the Finnish circus scene, and we did together Winter Circus Hurjarut in 2015.
Yeah, I know that one. Tricking has brought you many things in your life. What do you think is one of the biggest things that it has taught you during your whole career?
I think one of the most biggest has gotta be the fact that I learned how to teach something for myself on my own. So, because when you don't have a coach or a teacher always telling you, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to figure out so much stuff on your own. And also, you really learn that you need to work hard. If you want something, you need to work hard towards your dream and you can achieve it. But the hard work and patience is needed. And there is always going to be hard days. There's going to be bad days on the way. And you shouldn't then get depressed and sit down and slowly fade away and say like, okay, I cannot do it. But you need to keep on believing in yourself. You need to have the confidence and believe in yourself, and you can reach and learn whatever you want.
So do you share the message for the younger generations that follow your dreams?
Definitely. And get confident, because most of the people who come to our classes, they would also never believe, the same like me, that they can do a backflip and or they can do any of the moves what we're doing, and they're like, yeah, I will come to try it. But I always see it, even when they stay with us only 4 months, which is a length of one season, and you can see a huge difference how they feel in the beginning at the first class and in the end, because they start to really believe in themselves and they start to understand that, wow, I can actually learn things that I have never believed that I can do. It was so beautiful last week when I was teaching our basic class in Tampere, and one of the girls, we spotted a backflip for her for the first time. So for the first time in her life, she went backwards, and she was so in adrenaline after, like, oh my god, I imagined that maybe after some years I could try that, but like right now, and she was so happy afterwards. And it's always exciting to see that, and I know she's gonna come like really proud and confident to the next lesson, and that's a really important lesson what I want to teach for all of our students.
Is that one goal that you want also to provide the people the self-confidence through tricking, even though they probably won't be the world's best trickers, but they can do stuff that they never realized, so it gives them self-confidence and makes them life a little bit easier in the future?
Exactly. That's one of the goals, and I think all the lessons what you learn at training, you should try to then use in your everyday life. So you can think that, okay, that when I believed there in myself and I kept working hard on it for the 3 months, then I actually learned this trick. So what if I do it with my studies? If I'm gonna really focus on learning a new skill for 3 months, yeah, it's possible to use it and learn it, and yeah, use the lessons learned at the tricking gym and use them in your everyday life.
Let's jump back to the 2009 when you finally made the one trick that actually busted your leg. Can you remember the situation before the jump? How afraid were you before that, or were you just, because you told me that you were building step by step yourself towards that, were you just totally self-confident because of the basic groundwork?
Yeah, I was just fully ready for it. Like, that's always when I do new moves. First of all, I train them to the pit. I train them to the safe landing to the mattresses, and I knew I could do it 3 times, 5 times in a row and land it easily. So then I only had to take it. It's only a mental thing to take it from the mattress to the hard floor. And I I have this technique of visualizing in my mind the trick before I go for it. And I can quite well, or actually I feel like almost 100% know if I'm able to do it on the day or not. Because I focus on the trick, I do it in my mind over and over again. I look it from the perspective I imagine myself doing it, but I also imagine myself how it looks from outside. And I visualize the whole movement. And on that day, I was completely ready for it. I felt like I can do it, and I was able to land it, and that's how it goes. And also the same way that has been able to keep me safe. I feel like it because it's possible also to fail it. Like I can feel if I'm not ready because when I'm visualizing, I cannot, or sometimes I land badly and I get the small cringe like whoa, what if I twist my ankle? And then I know that okay, I need to still keep on working what needs to be worked on before I can go to the level to actually try it on floor.
How does it feel in the air? Because the twists are so fast, and for my eyes, I see something, but I really can't see precisely what's going on. And I've done some somersaults or flips or whatever to the water because it doesn't matter how you land, you're safe. But how does it feel in the air? Is it more like slow motion that you actually really know where you're going?
Yeah,
You
it feels awesome. It's one of the best feelings. That's what I really like in tricking. And you can only focus on exactly what you're doing at the moment. So you're not thinking about anything else. After you get the trick down, it feels exactly like you said, like slow motion. You can think really clearly. Like I need to keep my shoulder up. I need to turn my hip in the air. I need to spot the target before I'm gonna throw the kick after the double twisting flip or whatever. It really, you start to understand. You get a big air awareness and understand where you're going in the air. But then another case is going for the new moves, like what you haven't done before. That's a completely different aspect, and it can be really challenging mentally.
How do you get pumped for that? How do you really get pumped to make that first trick?
I usually, like, first of all, I need to make sure that my body is enough strong. I'm ready for it physically, and then I like immediately from the when I wake up, I'm like, okay, like today I'm gonna try to move. I keep on visualizing. I keep on thinking about it all day. And when I go to the gym, maybe I put on my favorite music, listen to the music already to get a good feeling before the training and try to set everything right to have the right vibes. And then what helps me and many other trickers that we use the music. So you put the music, powerful music, what you like, and you wait for the drop in the music and you're like building the adrenaline and getting ready for it. And when the drop in the music comes, you know you're gonna go for it.
You do a lot of tricks in a row. Is it the whole trick part? Is it visualized in front, or does it go with the flow occasionally?
It depends. Like quite often I visualize the whole thing. Like I try to make it like a piece of art that I think the whole thing through. But also I have a habit of thinking the beginning. Like I know something what I'm gonna do, and after that difficult part of the combo is done, then I go with the autopilot that I just freestyle until the end because I have tricked for 13 years, so I have my body is so ready and it knows certain combinations so well that it kind of comes automatically that I land something difficult, but then I freestyle until the end to make it even bigger.
What about after that freestyling? Do you know exactly what you did, or do you have to watch from the video like, oh, this is what happened?
Usually I know exactly what I did, but sometimes if it's really long, then you might be like, whoa, what what actually happened? Yeah.
Well, tricking has brought more to your life and also love. How did that happen?
How did that happen? Hello to my wife, Karina, if she's listening this. That happened in through performances as well. My wife is a Ukrainian circus performer, and we were both in a contract in Germany 2014. No, in the end of 2013, beginning of 2014, we spent few weeks in Germany touring around different cities and performing. And like, I saw her since the day one already. I saw that, oh, there is acrobatic trio with the three girls, and this one girl is very, very cute and beautiful and talented and everything. And she has told this story way differently afterwards, because she's like, yeah, I saw you like in the end of the tour. She saw me jumping on the stage, and actually she made the first move and came to talk to me like, hey, like what do you do? Like, is it a spring floor or what, or how you're flying? And we were both really at first amazed by what we do on the stage. Like, I had never seen somebody so on point with the acrobatics act fixed that even all the positions of the fingers were always exactly the same. It was something what I had never seen before, and it was really interesting for me. So I started to hang out and talk with her in the beginning, and like wanted to find out that like how it's possible, what kind of training you did for that. And slowly it started to catch up. We started to spend more and more time, and after the contract was over, I started to organize a lot of workshops, a lot of jobs in Germany, because she was living in Germany and performing at the time in Germany. So I started to travel at least once a month to Germany, and at some point we understood that I'm gonna be performing around the world, she's gonna be somewhere. If we want to be together, we need to start performing together. And that's when we made the move that she left her old performance group. She came to Finland and joined the VellusTa tricking team, and we started working together. She learned the basics of tricking, and I learned pair acrobatics, so we can combine together two different sports and make something beautiful out of it. And right now we living happily together with a small chihuahua back home, and we've been married for almost 2 years.
Right. Is it ever heavy to work together in the same group as a couple?
Of course, it has its difficulties, but it has a lot of pros and a lot of cons. But sometimes it can be difficult because you need to be able to divide that. Okay, that's our personal stuff, and that's gonna stay away when we go to work, when we go to training, or when we go to work. And sometimes as a couple, to draw the line between what's personal and what's professional with work, it can be complicated. But I'm quite proud and happy how we've been able to manage to do it.
You're well known all around the world. How has it affected you that you are famous in your sport? You still feel like the same kiddo who was trying to and figure out the tricks, or has it changed you as a person?
I feel like I'm the same. I think I should ask from somebody, my friend from outside, did it change me somehow? I feel like there was a phase where after this, when I started to win the competitions and be really good at tricking, that then I started to get like even too confident on myself, like wow, like I'm great. But at the same time, I always had friends close to me who put my legs to the ground and told like, yeah, but like, hey, like you cannot do that, and like, do you understand that that's only tricking? Like, put things into perspective. And that's been really important to have friends like that. And I feel like now also I have like understood how little I actually know after stepping. I was in a small box only with tricking. I feel like that I was really, really inside the sport. And when I started to grow more to the direction of performing and having your own tricking academy, I started to understand that, wow, like actually, like I know nothing about this. And I had to really step in the shoes of a complete beginner again. And like, even if people know me through my tricking, I'm still the same Vellu who I've always been. I'm the nerd. Actually, there's one video if you want to look in the YouTube. Vellu gets excited, and there you can like see the real me when I was 13 years old in a forest training, and I come to the camera like so excited with my glasses on, jumping and doing some simple flips. It's quite funny, and that's how I feel inside still.
It looks like you are really in the tricking business, and it's going to be your future too. How you see yourself in, let's say, 10 years from now?
I see myself running the VellusTa brand, and VellusTa is gonna be like a link between trickers and the clients in the entertainment business. So we're gonna be providing the best tricking shows and the best trickers for different occasions, and hopefully also grow into the more fields in the entertainment as well. And that's going to be one aspect of it. And then the another one is the tricking academy. So I really want to build the tricking curriculum teaching system that's going to help people how to actually go step by step, how to learn tricking, and it's going to help trickers to set up their own tricking schools wherever they live around the world, because that hasn't really been researched that much yet. Like everybody's kind of just doing it like, yeah, this is like I was doing it kind of like that, and I learned it like this, but there isn't really a system which would help you and tell you to go. So I see myself having a few tricking schools, or at least few tricking academies all around the world, and traveling around the world, running the team, and building from the schools, also slowly building from the scratch young performers that they're gonna get used to the performing, and they're gonna learn and experience already since young age, so we can see like what kind of crazy young trickers we can actually put on the stage after 10 years when they have been rehearsed and trained for it for a really long time.
Are you going to put that filming part also to be part of the whole set? Is
Yes.
there an idea for that too?
Yes, like definitely I would like to combine it at least in a way to make the youngsters superstars for their friends, that we're gonna film cool videos with them performing. So that's one aspect that I would like to get also myself better at the videography and find people who can do it. And yes, go more like I kind of count the live shows and the performing for video the same. So when I talk about being the link between the tricking performers and clients, it also means the performers for the commercials, music videos, and film industry.
What about you? You're traveling so much. How many days a year you spend in Finland? Do you have a base ground, or are you more like a nomad who's just traveling around with the backpack on?
I have a home rental apartment in Tampere, and I feel like around 100 days a year, something like that. I'm traveling around the world. Sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more, but I always keep on going back to Tampere, and that's the base where I work at. That's where most of our team is based, and that's where I keep getting back to.
You think social media is good nowadays, that you can actually connect from wherever you are around the world, and you can gather groups together and show videos and make these things way bigger?
Yeah, it's definitely been a very important part of tricking and the growth of tricking. So I'm really like, how to say, I would be like really thankful that it happened, because it helped tricking to grow so fast, and it's still helping, and many other sports as well. So there's so much good about it. Like when somebody in Finland learned a new trick or created a new trick, like I could upload it to internet, and an American tricker would see it and be like, "Oh, but actually I can add this thing into it," and he would do it, and then like this is how tricking was growing back and forth like this, and that's really really good. But there is also the like dark side from it, which I'm sometimes a little bit scared of, especially with the trampoline jumping nowadays. That I see a lot of the kids in the on their garden trampolines or on the trampoline parks, and they are trying too difficult moves, and I feel like social media might be pressuring them, because they are like, oh, but my friend got 50 likes in his video, and I need to get 60, and I need to get 50 more followers, and so on. So you should be able to like or somehow we all together should be able to use it for the good, and get rid of the pressure and negative side that might push you to take too much risks.
Probably this is a message you're sharing to the younger people too.
Yes,
What
definitely.
about the oldies, that you said that there are 70-year-old people also in the tricking academy? Have you also taught them to use the social media? Because there might be some older ones that are like standing on the ground, that development is not good.
No, well, actually, I haven't really met somebody who would be so against it. Like I've been showing to some oldies like okay, like if you want you can go to YouTube and you can look at this and these videos, and it might be like what, like seriously, like weird for some people, but at the same time I feel like it's getting to be such a big part of in our society that even the older people, like they have looked something from internet, so it's not that weird. And I'm not forcing anybody, like you cannot trick if you don't have a account in the social media, like of course not.
I have to ask one thing still about the tricks. I suppose you still kind of own one trick, the only man in the world who has done it. Can you tell me about it?
That's kind of historical in tricking, because the sport has been growing really fast, and usually when somebody lands a new move it takes maximum 1 month, and there's going to be someone in another side of the world, and slowly people start to pop up. But that's a move, it's called double gainer. So like you said in the beginning, double backflip from one leg, and I did it in 2011. So for 6 years it's been untouchable, and that's the only trick at the moment like that. Now a tricker called Michael Guthrie landed a quad cork exactly 1 year ago, and that's been untouchable for 1 year, which is also really historical. But there we can see that okay, I'm already at 6, and there's 1 year, so it's I'm still really proud from the fact that I was able to do it, because going for that kind of moves, it's always really scary, really risky, because you don't really know. No one has ever done it, so you're like, is it actually possible to be done, or am I just gonna land short and break my both ankles? But
did you see that double backflip from standing that one guy made?
yes, that's amazing. That's really crazy. His name is Aaron, and it's really crazy. That's something else. Like to make a standing double backflip, you really need to have everything perfectly. The height, the rotation, it's amazing. And you can see the joy from his face when he's landing it. Like it's crazy. And I saw the same guy, actually, he did it in a tumbling track, which is almost the same, but a bit more bouncy. And he did it like 2007 or 2008 or something. So he's been hunting for it for a long time. And now seeing him land it after all this time, it was, I like felt the excitement and happiness, and watched it over and over again when he landed it.
What about you? Are you still hunting for new tricks that haven't been made, or are you more now as a performer, as you said earlier?
I would like to. I would really like to, but I'm also afraid, because now I'm much more aware of the fact that if I get injured, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. It's also not only for me, but for the whole team. It's going to be really rough, and I'm not only responsible for my own health, but also responsible for the whole team. But that being said, at least one thing what I want to land quite soon, it's a touchdown race, gainer switch, swing corking back out in a combination. So that would be the first time when like a real tricking combo will be made with the corking back out, which is a double backflip from one leg with a twist, which has been landed by 3 persons at the moment. So that's something that I've been visualizing and dreaming about for the last year, and I know that when the time is right, it will come.
You're gonna nail it.
Yeah.
It's been so great to have you here. I'm very thrilled, because this is a new sport for me. As I said, I've been just following you a bit and seeing these tricks, and I'm amazed. I'm just amazed. And as you as a person, you're just glowing, and sharing this great information and doing the tricks and this happiness. And I like the idea, because I've been growing in a sport that at some point it got really serious, and I like the fact that there's possibilities that you can actually just enjoy, take it seriously and develop yourself, but you can just enjoy living and really be passionate, enjoy the sport. So you're just bringing happy and joyness here in this studio also. I like it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much. Really nice words from you. And that's what always been fascinating for me about tricking. The freedom, and you can do anything, and you can create your style how you want. And I feel like that's the reason why I fell in love with tricking, and that's what's fascinating. so many people nowadays. And I don't know, I just get so excited when I'm talking about tricking, so that's why I'm like, oh,
I really hope
Okay.
that your message is going wider and wider year after year, and also in Finland there are more and more trickers coming. I think I have to put my boy into your class, but he needs to be
You
1
should.
year older, and then I'm gonna bring him there for sure. He likes to do all kind of tricks.
Nice.
I think it popped out already, but I have always this one last question for my guests, and the question is that what makes you happy?
What makes me happy? A lot of things. My family, my friends, my wife, tricking. I feel like that's the most important thing in life, to be happy. And when you are not crossing, like you have your own values, and if you live by your values, then you're gonna be happy. And I think that's an important thing what everybody should go through in their own mind. Like, okay, what do I think is good in this life? What's important for me, and how can I be helpful for other people? So when you have your values and you follow them, then you're gonna be happy. For me, it's important to help other people. I like to help other people. That makes me happy. Tricking makes me happy when if I'm feeling down, I go to the gym, I have a session. I'm usually always feeling good afterwards. It's like a therapy.
Thank you very much, Vellu.
Thank you.